Hello guys and welcome back to part 2 of How to Code playlist. Today we're going to be talking about how to code with CSS. So CSS allows us to specify how to present render the document info stored in the HTML. And thanks to CSS, we can control all the aspects of the visualization and some other features. This includes colors, which can be for content, background, and borders, margins, interior margin, exterior margins, the position, where to put it, the sizes, width, height, and the behavior, and changes on the mouse over time. An example of CSS could be the curly brackets, color, colon, blue, semicolon, which is obviously very important in coding. You can add comments, margins, which has a unit of pixels, and font size. This will change all the tabs in a web to look blue with font Tahoma with 14 pixels and leaving a margin of 10 pixels. So the fields, here's a list of all the most common CSS fields and an example. We have color, background image, font, border top, radius, margin, padding, width, height, text align, box shadow, cursor display, and finally overflow. And how to add CSS. There are 4 ways to add CSS rules to your website. So you can insert the code inside a style tag, referencing an external CSS file, or using the attribute style on the tag. CSS selectors. Let's start by changing the background color of one of the tags of our website. So you can use div, background color red, or you can even use body. What if we want to change one specific tag? We can specify more precisely the selectors besides the name of the tag, for instance, by class or ID. So we can do p class equals intro. And the selectors, this includes the tag name, dot, sharp character, 2 dots, and finally brackets. You can also specify tags by its context. For example, tags that are inside of tags matching a selector. Just separate the selectors by a space. This will affect the p tags of class intro that are inside the tag div of ID main. And the selectors will apply to the CSS by any tag with div, with ID main, and class intro if the mouse is over. And if you want to select only elements that are of a direct child of one element, use the greater than symbol character. So ul.menu greater than lie. And HTML arrange. So it is important to understand how the browser arranges the elements on the screen. And you can also, I'll link this slideshow in the description, and you can check out this tutorial where it explains it really well. Personally speaking, it really does explain it really well. And you can change the way elements are arranged using the display property. And finally, box model. This is very important when considering web designing because this is basically like your canvas that you have to paint or edit. It's important to note that by default, any width and height specified to an element will not only take account its margin, so a div with, let's say an example with 100 pixels and a margin 100 pixel will measure 120 pixels on the screen, not 100 pixels, which a lot of people get confused about. And this could be a problem breaking your layout. And finally, obviously the layout, we have the header, navigation, where like the certain sections in a website, footer, and finally obviously the content. Flexbox is the first big proposal to address the layout, and this model allows to arrange stuff in one direction vertically or horizontally. The grid system, this is used by most sites and is a structured grid, and I recommend to use the CSS grid system because honestly it's just really easy and and it allows for much more freedom for web designing. And if you want to learn more about that, there's a tutorial here. As I said, I'll link that into the description. And finally, full screen divs. Sometimes you want to have a div that covers the whole screen. So in that case, remember to use percentages that define the size elements. And trick to centering, you can just do this code. Very simple. And if you want to learn more about CSS, over here. As I said, I'll link that in the description. And that's it for today. Now, Like I said before, I'm sorry that I haven't been too active, and it's been a while, but I'm back. So I hope you enjoyed that. Comment, like, and subscribe. I'm really trying to get 20 subscribers. That would mean the world to me if you could just like not even subscribe, just like watch the video and enjoy it. I hope you learned something. And yeah, thank you.